When I was a kid, my family lived in an old farmhouse surrounded by cornfields. That in itself is kind of awful, but my mom said she experienced a lot of different paranormal events in the house. It started with an upstairs light coming on as soon as she laid down for bed. She would hear screaming and whatnot from inside the house when she was in the garden. The thing that finally put her over the edge was a consistent night terror. After she would see my dad off to work early in the morning, she would go back to bed for a few hours of sleep. Almost once a week, she said that she would see a man in an old duster standing in the doorway to her room. She couldn't move and was essentially paralyzed with fear. I can't remember how she said he would disappear, but it ended up giving her pretty bad anxiety attacks, and we moved shortly after. I never experienced anything at all in this house as a kid. I live in a rural part of Ireland. Next to my house is a castle that has lots of history with mass executions of women and children. Not just me, but many people in my family have experienced vivid paranormal activity. One evening, I was laying on my bed with my phone, and there was a light reflecting from the hall outside my bedroom and onto the wall of my room, and a shadow of a man was walking towards the light from the lamp that was reflecting into my room. Initially, I thought this was a family member, but the shadow faded, and as my door was open, I looked out to see nothing there. One morning, my sister woke the house screaming at 7 a.m. and was in hysterics as she said she saw a lady in a white wedding dress walked past her bedroom door. My other sister has experienced the worst of the paranormal in this house. She said that she'd wake to something shifting her body on the bed, and one time she experienced a coyote growling in her face, which may be a sleep paralysis situation. Other small situations have also occurred, like a radio being turned on in the middle of the night, knocking noises and other little things. I know for a fact paranormal activity is occurring as I've experienced it firsthand. I don't think these presences are demonic, as they haven't come across as aggressive to a bad extent. Nothing has occurred in over 2 years since we had dogs in our house. I'm not sure if this has an effect on the paranormal. I went to Mexico for the first time with my now husband. We stayed at his parents' house. It was me and him in one room, and our nephew and his girlfriend in the other. We all stayed upstairs. We heard as if someone came and banged on the front door several times. I got up and told my husband to come downstairs with me so I could open the door. When I opened the door, there was no one there. And the way the house is, we would be able to see anyone who ran away or tried to hide. The house is surrounded by a tall fence with a lock, so you have to enter the fence first, then knock on the door. There is no way someone could just ding-dong ditch. So we went back upstairs, and as we lay down, we started to hear sounds downstairs as if someone came in and walked to a room in the first floor and laid down, but no one else was there. Then we heard taps on our window from the outside. The next morning I told his mom, and she told me his grandpa used to get very drunk on the front door, so they would open it. Then he would drunkenly walk to his room downstairs and pass out on the bed. She said it was him that we opened the door for, and he had walked in as if they would open it for him when he was alive.